FACTFULLNESS 10 reasons you are wrong about the world and why things are better than you think. Answer Lolly. Our dramatic instincts and overdramatic worldview. So here is this book. It shares with you the conclusions I finally reached based on years of trying to teach a fact-based worldview and listening to how people misinterpret for fact even when they are right there in front of them. About why so many people, from members of the public to very smart, highly educated experts, score worse than chimpanzee on fact question about the world, and I also tell you what you can do about it. In short, think about the world: war, violence, natural disaster, man-made disasters, corruption. Things are bad and feels like they are getting worse, alright? The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And the number of poor just keeps increasing and we will soon run out of resources unless we do something drastic. At least that's the picture that more Westerners see in the media and carry around in their heads. I call it overdramatic worldview. It's stressful and misleading. In fact, the vast majority of the world population lives somewhere in the middle of the income scale. Perhaps they are not what you think of as middle class, but they are not living in extreme poverty. Their girls go to school, their children get vaccinated, they live in two-children families, and they want to go abroad on holiday, not as refugees. Step by step, year by year, the world is improving, not on every single measure every single year, but as a rule. Though the world faces huge challenges, you have made tremendous progress. This is the fact-based worldview. It's the overdramatic worldview which draws people to the most dramatic and negative answer to my fact questions. People constantly and intuitively refer to their worldview when thinking, guessing, or learning about the world. So, if your worldview is wrong, then you will systematically make wrong guesses. But this overdramatic worldview is not caused simply by out-of-date knowledge, as I once thought. Even people with access to the latest information get the world wrong. And I am convinced it's not the fault of an evil-minded media, propaganda, fake news, or wrong fact. My experience over decades of lecturing and testing and listening to the ways people misinterpret the fact, even when they are right in front of them, finally brought me to see the overdramatic worldview is so difficult to shift because it comes from the very way our brain works. Optical illusion and global illusions. Look at the two horizontal lines below. Which line is the longest? You might have been this before. The line on the bottom looks longer than the line on the top. You know it isn't. But even if you already know, even if you measure the lines yourself and confirm, then you are the same. You keep seeing them at different lengths. My glasses have a custom lens to correct for my personal sight problem, but When I look at this optical illusion, I still misinterpret what I see, just like everyone else. This is because illusions don't happen in our eyes. They happen in our brains. They are systematically misinterpretation unrelated to individual sight problem. Knowing that most people are deluded means that you don't need to be embarrassed. Instead, you can be curious. How does this illusion work? Similarly, you can look at the result from the public polls and skip being impressed. Instead, be curious. How does this global illusion work? Why do so many people's brains systematically misinterpret the state of the world? The human brain is a product of millions of years of evolution, and we are hardwired with instincts that helped our ancestors to survive in small group of hunters and gatherers. Our brain often jump to swift conclusion without much thinking, which used to help us to avoid immediate dangers. You are interested in gossip and dramatic stories, which used to be the only source of the news and useful information. We crave sugar and fat, which used to be life-saving source of energy when food was scarce. We have many instincts that used to be useful thousands of years ago, but we live in a very different world now. Our craving for sugar and fat make obesity one of the largest health problems in the world today. We have to teach our children and ourselves to stay away from sweet and chips. In the same way, our quick-seeking brain and craving for drama, our dramatic instincts, are causing misconception and an overdramatic worldview. Don't misunderstand me. We still need these dramatic instincts to give meaning to our world and get us through the day. If we shift every input and analyze every decision rationally, a normal life would be impossible. We should not cut out all sugar and fat, and we should not ask a surgeon to remove the part of our brain that deal with emotions. But we need to learn to control our drama intake. Uncontrolled, our appetite for the dramatic goes too far, prevent us from seeing the world as it is, and lead us terribly astray. Factfulness and the fact-based worldview. This book is my very last battle in my lifelong mission to fight devastating global ignorance. It's my last attempt to make an impact on the world, to change people's way of thinking, calm their irrational fears, and redirect their energy into constructive activism. In my previous battle, I armed myself with huge data sets, eye-opening software, an energetic lecturing style, and Swedish Baynard. It wasn't enough, but I hope that this book will be. This is data as you have never known it. It's data as therapy. It's understanding as a source of mental peace, because the world is not as dramatic as it seems. Factfulness, like a health diet and regular exercise, can and should become part of your daily life. Start to practice it, and you will be able to replace your overdramatic worldview with a worldview based on fact. You will be able to get the world right without learning it by heart. We will make better decisions, stay alert to real danger and possibilities, and avoid being constantly stressed about the wrong things. I will teach you how to recognize overdramatic stories and give you some thinking tools to control your dramatic instincts. Then you will be able to shift your misconceptions, develop a fact-based worldview, and beat the chimps every time. Back to the circus. I occasionally throw a sword at the end of my lecture to demonstrate in a practical way that the seemingly impossible is possible. Before my circus act, I'll have been testing my audience's factual knowledge about the world. I'll have shown them that the world is completely different from what they thought. I'll have proven to them that many of the change they think will never happen to have already happened. I'll have been struggling to awaken their curiosity about what's possible, which is absolutely different from what they believe and from what they see in the news every day. I swallow the sword because I want the audience to realize how long their institutions can be. I want them to realize that what I have shown them, both the sword swallowing and the material about the world that came before it. However, much is complex with their preconceived ideal. However impossible it seems is true. I want people, when they realize they have been wrong about the world, to feel not embarrassment, but the childlike sense of wonder, inspiration, and curiosity that I remember from the circus, and that I still get every time I discover I've been wrong. Oh, how is that even possible? This is a book about the world and how it really is. It's also a book about you and why you and almost everyone I have ever met do not see the world as it really is. It's about what you can do about it and how this will make you feel more positive, less stressed, and more hopeful as you walk out of the circus tent and back into the world. So, if you are more interested in being a writer than in continuing to live in your bubble, if you are willing to change your worldview, if you are ready for critical thinking to replace instinctive reaction, and if you feeling humble, curious, and ready to be amazed, then please read one.